question for each of you, starting with Lauren. With your work in the past in voice acting, just wondering which you prefer, voice or live acting?
Well, I think that a role like Supernatural, it's so gratifying as an artist because you have to really dig deep, and it's just much more challenging. But on the other side of that, you know, voice acting, you can just be anybody or anything. So I'm playing a little 5-year-old black kid or a 90-year-old Jewish white woman. And, you know, it's just like the sky's the limit. So that's really fun. And also, it takes very little time to do voiceover. And you never have to memorize your lines, which is also awesome. but I do think that my preference would be, you know, probably to do more on-screen work, just because it's more challenging as an artist.
Well, there was no scene.
And you can go in your underwear too.
Exactly. And I was like 9 months pregnant. I was like working up to the very second I gave my water broke. Too much information.
And for Osric, there's been a lot of research, but sort of an increase in attention to anime, manga, Asian influence type things. Do you find that as a young Asian person, detriment or better for your career?
I think for the better. I mean, it's just all about awareness. I mean, like throughout this career, we're always going to be fighting with stereotypes and stuff, and you know, it's there for a reason, because you know, stereotypes come from some truth. It's only stereotypical or racist after a certain point if you're generalizing too often. You know, these things exist. It's not everybody though, right? But to get beyond that, you know, I think you first have to embrace what is, you know, the first impression. Like for the Kevin Tran role, it started off as such a stereotypical character, you know, and it was, you know, it's just one of those things that I wasn't, you know, I was like, shit, you know, is this going to be one of those roles for me that I'm just like, yeah, that was my super duper Asian character. And it would have been, except for the fact that they brought me back in season 8, and that's when you start bringing out the layers. And right, and this is like with any character, any ethnicity, Caucasian, you know, Indian, Asian, it's like we have that stereotypical stuff. You know, some of that's in our culture, some of that's just who we are, but there's all this other stuff that you might not see right away, you know, and it's just different layers will peek out for different people. And I think as long as we see those layers, then it'll be fine. And so, like, the more stuff we see, we're gonna see those stereotypes, but as long as they keep, you know, diving in, we can see the depths of all these characters, I think it'll be awesome for the Asian community.
Cool. Watching the evolution.
Hey. Hi. So I'm sure you get asked this a million times, but it's my first con, so I was just gonna
Welcome.
Thank you. But how did they tell you that they were gonna kill Kevin Tran?
Wait, how did you find out?
They just sent you the script, right?
No, so usually I would have probably found out like a month before, but I found out 2 episodes earlier while I was filming, like 2 episodes that I shot, so like maybe almost half the season early. It was just in the outline form, and one day Jared just walked up to me and he's like, "Hey, sorry buddy, like, I really hate to do this to you, but I kill you." And he said this like very seriously, you know, and it is the boy who cried wolf. He's always joking around, so I can't take him seriously. I'm like, shut up, Jared. It's like, no, dude, like seriously, I'm just reading over the outline, and I'm like, this is so weird that he's gonna try to play this joke so long. Like, Jared, just stop, let's just do this. I was like, no, and he shows me the outline. It's like, okay, Kevin died. And still in the back of my mind, just like, would he like write up this entire I know, I wouldn't put it past him, but you know, at that point I'm like, okay, I'm like, it's still outline, I'm like, they can still change their mind, I'm like, okay, that kind of sucks. The next episode is like, he had the script, I'm like, give me your phone. So I just read through the script, like, oh, okay, I guess it's official. And so it was a little bit sad, and then, yeah, it was weird, you know, it's just an odd feeling knowing that, especially going to these conventions, people are like, so what do you want Kevin to do next? You know, not die.
Well, they should definitely bring him back, because
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you guys?
Good.
I have a question for Lauren. Sorry, I know that acting seems to be a very male-dominated thing, and I'm entering a male-dominated job as well in engineering. And I was just wondering, like, yeah. And I was just wondering how you seem to deal with, like, just that atmosphere, I guess, because I hear a lot of the times when female engineers go into their jobs that they feel very intimidated because they're surrounded by guys and usually they're the little girl in the room, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just wondering, like, from an acting perspective, like, how do you deal with that kind of
Wait,
thing?
did you say you're gonna be an engineer?
Yeah, hopefully.
You must be smart. See? Why can't you do something like that? You gotta do this. But, I always tell people, especially if they want to be an actor, but I think it applies to all walks of life, that I think what can ground you in your sense of self-esteem and well-being and self-confidence is just to be the very best at what you do that you possibly can. So that no one can really touch that in a way, and that's what you're there for. That's, you're there to do that job. And so for an actor, I would say just keep studying and just be so good that they can't not hire you. And so for you too, I think just be, that skilled and that much smarter. And it's almost like I think sometimes ethnic people and women are a little bit of the underdog, and so you have to actually be a little bit better almost in order to just be seen as equal. And so I think, just hold your head high and just kick ass. It'll be great.
Howdy.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Not too bad. Well, I had a question for both of you, but unfortunately it turns out the answer to yours, Miss Tom, was Venus flytrap. So Osric, the latest round of Gishwhizz got you basically into a puddle of your own dismembered papier-mâché heads.
Right.
So, if you were a consultant for Gishwhizz, what would the item that you make be?
The item that I
What would
make,
you make people do?
obviously something.
That you should have.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I figured.
Throw a pie in Misha's face. Can you imagine like 10,000 pies?
So can Jared and Jensen already claim that for next year?
Well, every time he does an item, like I was just talking to him, because I asked Mark for one of the items, he's like, Osric, I like you, but like these, if I do one, I have to do for every. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's like, and Misha does this to me every time. Like he'll pick people and like they get overrun and it's just crazy. It's like, and I tell him every year to keep me out of it, but he keeps pulling me back in. It would have to be a Misha-orientated item that he doesn't choose. Something less fun and comfortable.
I don't know, he's kind of up for most things, so.
He is. Okay, catch Misha off guard with a pie in the face. No, but then he could get hurt.
So bonus points.
That's good. Yeah. Tattoo Misha's face on part of Misha's body. There you go. He has 1,000 Misha faces on his body. That would look so weird. You're right, he would be totally game for that.
There's a few things he's not game for. Really.
That's hard. That's a really hard question.
He's a hard man to screw with, isn't he?
Because I mean, even with like my Gishwhizz team, through our discussions, I always thought like, okay, like if I were to come up with an item, what would it be? There's just, I don't know. I feel like you just have to like pick random items or just match it together. And
Something that no sane person would do otherwise.
yeah, I know. I'll probably think of something over the weekend and get back to you. Like, that's the one.
Okay, let me know.
Okay. But
Thanks, guys.
Misha getting tattoos of himself sounds pretty good to me. Thanks, Matt.
Hi.
Bart from Futurama. And I grew up with Futurama, and I also grew up with Dragon Ball Z. And it's actually such a coincidence that you are Goku, because Goku is known for dying, and then coming back, and then coming back. So,
And then he has to stay dead because he has to do it for the good of the world, because otherwise the evil will keep coming.
well, unless Sam can gather up the Dragon Balls. And
Right.
my question is there a scene that you guys kind of go back and you're just like, oh, I really like that scene, or like, I wish I did that differently, or is there just any scene that really like pops with you too?
I mean, like, being the kind of actor that hates watching himself, most scenes I would want to do differently. But one episode and one thing that I've always enjoyed is still my first episode ever. And it's with Jared chasing me. I just loved that scene so much. And that was a magical week. It was my first day, you know, Jared had a baby that weekend, you know, like his last take, which is good. He asked me permission. He's like, can you do this without me? Go have a baby. There was so much happening, and I was like running, and this is when I found out that he was also competitive, because for the running scene, you know, I'm this little guy, and he's got these massive legs, and he's in good shape, and so when he went like way the hell, he's like, it's okay, so I'm chasing, he's like, well, I'm just gonna move back. And like, I used to be a sprinter, so I'm like, all right, let's go for it. And so I just like, shh, and then we had to start zigzagging because there wasn't enough space. And Jared was out of breath, so it was like the little victories throughout and also it was just the start of like this, right? Nothing really beats that. So that first episode will always be like the one for me.
Yeah, and that's so funny because mine is similar in the sense that mine was also the first day of my shooting, but it was Jensen chasing me. And you might want to cover your ears for this part. But you know the part where he's got me up against the pole and his arm is like this, and I'm like this, like looking up at him, and he's trying to, he's trying to slit my throat. But the position that he was in looked like he was about to kiss me. I remember thinking to myself, I could just stay here for a while. Shoot this scene for long time. It's over?
One more?
Oh,
Okay, let's do one more.
Can I do one?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, actually, she kind of stole my question. I was going to ask you what was your favorite scene to do. So I'm going to change that up and say, what was your least favorite scene to do, or what was like hardest for you while you were on the set?
That for both of us, or?
Both of you, yes.
For me, I think I kind of touched on it.
That's true, you
That
did.
scene where I had to find out that he died was just really, really hard for me. I didn't want to, my body didn't want to do it. I was like,
It was the death scene, because, I mean, it was a very somber set that day, and they covered my eyes, so it was completely black. And so it was, we actually shot that in order, so this was the last thing that I did, and, I was just lying on the floor, and everyone was really quiet, because, it's like I've been with these people for like 2.5 years, and it was just really sad, and so the only thing that I really, they were whispering like, action. And so the only thing I heard was Jensen saying Kevin in a very sad voice. So it was like it was 3 hours of that, and so like after I was completely blind and I just didn't have it in me to like say goodbye, so I just kind of like whisked away, got the prosthetics off and got changed, and then I just went off.
now you see them all.
Yeah, but it was a tough episode to do.
It totally stunned the entire audience, and we all.
Can I make a quick announcement? But since it looks like we're wrapping up, I just wanted to put it out there really quick that I have this table from 6 to 9.
and I wanted to do a drawing for my favorite charity, Homeboy Industries, this phenomenal, amazing organization that it's about gang prevention in LA. And so if you drop by, I have my donation can, and if you put $20 in, we'll get your name and your Twitter account or your cell number, and then we'll do a raffle, and the name that we pick, I'm gonna take you, whoever wins, and Osric out to breakfast tomorrow morning.
I'm also trying to get my real mom to come out for it, but
Well, why don't you take her too?
I'm trying, but it's downtown, and she doesn't want to find a party.
So if you can, like, drop by, just drop a 20 in there, and then we'll get your name, okay?
Oh, and if you can drive Mom tomorrow to the that'd be awesome. Always my brother. Thank you.